Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! All right, Raptors fans, the Raptors fall to the Golden State Warriors 120-105. Welcome to Raptors Tonight live from Real Sports Bar and Grill. I'm Akil Augustine, joined by Sherman Hamilton, not Alvin Williams. That is Eric Smith. The card says Alvin Williams, and my guy Paul Jones. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Great.
Good. Okay,
You just
all right.
threw your guy right under the bus.
Hey, listen.
Like, right under the bus.
You threw me under the bus first. Let's jump into it. Of course, the Raptors lose. And again, on another night, it comes down to the third quarter. Jonesy, we'll start with you. What did you see specifically tonight that cost the Raptors the game?
I've been a proponent of this over the last little while. The NBA's changed to the point where back in the day, if you couldn't score, your defense could hold you in the game.
Not the case.
It's not the case now, Akil. Like it's like a race where somebody stops to tie their shoe. That guy's not stopping beside you. He keeps running. It's the second night in a row, as you said, that we've seen it in the third quarter. I think a little more understandable tonight without one of the main hubs of your offense, Scottie Barnes, handling the ball, distributing, scoring, helping your defense to create transition. He wasn't there. And I thought there were, at times, they were really reaching, working deep into the shot clock.
In that third, especially.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say disorganized, just nobody to create something, get inside or drive it, or they were just missing something. They only scored 19 points in the third quarter. And again, like you said, they're up 3. They only scored 19. It's outscored by 13, down 10. And with a minute to go, it was a 10-point difference.
Yeah. 32-19 in that third quarter. Eric Smith, hit me with the truth.
I mean, I think Jonesy hits on it a lot in terms of what went wrong. It kind of went wrong on both ends, right? Like whether it's the defense beats the offense, the good offense beats it, whatever. They didn't have either. They didn't have either in that third quarter and in that second half. They couldn't seem to stop Steph, especially in that third, who got things going, got things cooking. Clay had 0 at the half. He started coming alive. I don't remember the final numbers, but I think the two of them combined outscored the Raptors from the perimeter, like in terms of the three-point shooting overall. And on a night where you lose Barnes, quickly struggled with his shot. Trent struggled with his shot. Grady Dick struggled with his shot. So it's like, other than RJ maybe, there was no real consistent go-to guy. And if you're not slowing him down on defense and you're not getting enough on your offense, that's clearly a bad recipe that ultimately sunk them in the second half.
Scottie Barnes left the game with a hand injury. Apparently, Emmanuel quickly may have hit him in the hand. No update as of yet, but we'll wait for that news tomorrow. Sherm, I'll start with you. If Scottie is unable to go Sunday, how significant of an impact is that for this group as they try to find themselves on offense?
Well, it's significant, obviously. Scottie is so good at what he does in terms of both sides of the basketball, but this is a part of the growing pains, right? You're going to have situations like this where you're not going to have guys available. So who's going to step in? Who's going to take the opportunity to make more of themselves in those situations? And, you know, it's clear when guys have to move up a rung in the pecking order.
Yeah.
And is it sustainable? Well, this is a young group of guys, and everybody's trying to prove themselves. So you got to look at it as an opportunity. And if you don't look at it as we're missing our main guys, so we're losing so much, but we have an opportunity to show what we can do without our main guy, I think that's going to be the approach. But you lose a lot. Rebounding, scoring, passing, you know, just overall energy when Scottie's not in the lineup.
To Sherm's point, I look at a guy like RJ Barrett who played the second half. I know Scottie wasn't there. I don't know if he was trying to necessarily take a lead role, but he was certainly trying to exert himself and put impose himself on the game. And man, I love how hard he plays consistently on both ends. And so to Sherm's point about opportunity, it's going to fall to different guys. Maybe not one guy consistently, but at different points in the game, different guys are going to have to step forward.
I'll tell you this too, the other thing, I don't want to be that guy.
You're going to be that guy.
But I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah, of course.
Knock on wood.
Reputation.
Knock on wood, right? You hope that it's nothing. You hope that it's something minor. Because if it isn't, you do the math on these things are normally 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
What's left in the season?
Right.
4 to 6 weeks. So you hope, fingers crossed, that it's nothing too concerning whenever we get the news, whether it's later tonight or tomorrow. it was interesting too because it looked like at first like was it the right hand when he hit the rim, but it turns out it was the left hand.
It was the rim.
And he had been playing through the left for a while because it had happened earlier in the game. I can't remember who was guarding him. It might have been Jackson Davis, but he had caught the ball right in front of the Warriors bench and let out a huge scream, and it looked like he wasn't even able to grip the ball. And they kind of saw the baseline open, put it on the floor, finish with the bucket. So he had played through for a good 10 minutes at least before ultimately bowing out late in the second quarter. So again, fingers crossed that it's nothing too serious.
All right, let's talk about the opponents. Steph Curry, first time back in Toronto since the 2019 NBA Finals. So the fans who bought tickets, they go home happy. There were a lot of Warriors fans. I was confused.
A lot.
I was confused as to what building I was in at points. But let's talk about slowing down Steph Curry. Eric Smith, I'll put the challenge to you. I'm always grilling these two guys. So, what do you think of the defense the Raptors played on Steph? Because he did Steph things tonight.
He did Steph things tonight, but I thought they did a decent job of trying to take away his ability to drive and get in the lane. Unfortunately, obviously, as the most potent shooter in the history of the game, he was dropping them from all over the place, popping off screens, coming clean, dropping them down over guys, double teams, whatever. I mean, I think I said to Jones at one point in our broadcast, when I looked down, I think he had 8 field goals made and 7 of them were for distance.
Yeah.
So on one hand, they shut down other things, but you didn't shut down the biggest thing. And when you're trading 3s for 2s, more often than not, it's a bad recipe. So
should they have double teams? Is that an option with Steph, or is he too adept?
No, but it's a good point. And you think about it. You double team and you get it out of Steph's hands.
Yes.
It ends up in Draymond's hands, who's a good facilitator.
He's not looking to shoot.
And he's not looking to shoot, and he's got an extra guy to deal with. Like, there's 4 of them and 3 of you defensively, and the ball's in the hands of a good passer. Or it ends up in the hands of a guy like Klay Thompson who can shoot it. And we saw Kuminga tonight.
And Moody early was...
Moody was making shots. Sherman, this is a term you always use when we talk about this. Without ball pressure and a guy starting to eat up the space, and we saw Kuminga do that a lot once he figured out, they're going to play off me.
Yeah.
And he started finishing at the rim. Okay, so Steph's not going, but now you got other guys at the party to worry about. I just thought that was tough.
Yeah, you can double team him. Sure.
You can.
Absolutely, you can double team him.
Okay, all right, so enough about the double team because obviously they have a remedy for that. But have we noticed any drop-off in the quality of play of Steph Curry? How long can he keep up at this level? We saw LeBron the other night do LeBron things in the fourth quarter against the Clippers, but this Steph guy, still at it?
You know, I think sometimes seeing guys like LeBron do what they're doing just motivates guys like Steph.
Yes.
It just makes them say,
That's
look,
his class.
he's in a greatness level. I can stay and remain great as long. And it just creates longevity between greatness. The problem is everybody else has to play against it. And that's difficult. And Steph is a different type of greatness. I mean, Steph is 45 feet greatness. And that's a problem to defend.
Unlimited range.
100%. And no matter how much Father Time catches up to Steph Curry, he's always going to be able to shoot the basketball.
That never goes away.
And the further away from the basket he is the quicker he's going to look when he goes by people because there's so much space that he can utilize. So Steph's a different animal. He's just one of those guys that I don't know if we'll ever see another person play the game like that in our lifetime. It's just different.
Hey, can I say something as well? It's got nothing to do with the X's and O's. You brought it up. First time since 2019 being back here, and I know there's the history from growing up here and going to school here and playing in this gym and in the practice field and everything else. I get all that. I would argue to say that, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to any current or former Raptors, the amount of autographs I saw signed tonight by Steph Curry, the amount of pictures I saw posed by Steph Curry.
The amount of jerseys.
The dude gets it, period. Selling the game, selling the team, selling the sport, giving back to the fans, you name it. All of those jerseys you talked about seeing pregame, he came in and put on a show in his warm-ups, as he always does, especially in his own building. But to know that he's doing that in every single spot or in most spots, and certainly here in Toronto, post-game, he's still on the floor almost 10 minutes after the buzzer, taking pictures, taking off his game jersey, signing it, waiting for the fans, flicking off the wristband.
Validating that price bump.
100%. Like he gave the people the show pre-game, in-game, post-game, every bit the part of the superstar you want more than any other.
Are you not entertained?
And I go back to what Sherm said. When you can shoot the ball like that, you'll always have a job and you'll always be a threat in the game. No matter He may not be able to dart and dip and dive the way he once could, but the way he shoots the ball, the way he gets himself open, now he's playing on with his brain as much as he is with his physical ability.
Well, what did you say during our broadcast? Jonesy made the point. The way he shoots from 28, 30, 32 looks like somebody else shooting from 16 or 18.
It's like me shooting from 4.
Well, like, you know,
you might miss.
Ooh.
Let's
Finish your
keep it
point,
real,
Joe.
I was
man.
going to say, the way he
finish your
handles
point,
the
John.
way he handles the ball,
Yes.
and he gets into
Be
his,
sensitive at this late at night.
he needs more to eat.
You know what?
You can't be
I'm
sensitive.
calling it right now.
You can't be sensitive.
I'm calling
this
it.
late
It's
at
time
night.
for fan of the night.
I'm not taking it.
It's
I'm
time
not
for fan of the
taking
night. Shout out my
It's
guy
that
beside.
turtleneck.
Where's Christian Kwai? Christian Kwai in the building. Where you at, though?
There he is.
Christian, come on through, man. We got to stop. We got to cut Sherm's mic for a second. All right, Christian, come on through. Come on through. Pleasure to meet you. Here you go.
Nice to meet you guys.
All right, so come on over here.
Sit down, man. Sit down.
Well,
Sit
the
down.
customers-
okay,
is he
right,
sitting
right,
down
yeah.
first?
Yeah,
Okay, we'll let him
sit
sit
down.
first.
Sit
Okay.
down. Have a seat.
Guys, how are you?
What's going
All right,
on?
Christian, hold the mic up. Hold the mic up.
Yeah. Hey, how are ya?
So Christian has a question for our panel. I heard it's a tough one. Give it to us.
What do the Raptors need to improve their depth?
To improve their depth.
Like, obviously in the offseason.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. You take this one.
Well, first of all, they got to figure out what they have, and I think one thing they probably will look into is getting more shooting at some point. But you got to figure out who's going to ultimately become one of those shooters. Grady Dick has shown he can shoot the basketball. Obviously, quickly, RJ's going to become a better shooter. Scottie's going to become a better shooter. But to have people on the floor to space the floor, to utilize the quickness of Emmanuel, to utilize Scottie's passing ability and ability to attract that second defender, if you can keep that floor spaced out, those guys are going to have a lot of room to operate, and that includes RJ as well. So shooting is an area I think that they might want to look into.
Okay.
I would look at big, size, with perimeter skill, because that's kind of the way the NBA is now. And so, find me a guy. I'm not saying find me another Scottie, but if you can get me a guy 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", even I'd go 6'8" to 6'10", that can play on the perimeter, stretch, help space the floor, but then as Kelly Olynyk does at times, he doesn't forget he's 7 feet.
Right.
Like he'll go down there against a smaller player, and we saw it tonight, score on the block. So you need that, that versatility, and for what it's worth, being able to guard a little on the perimeter.
I'll try to give a third answer, a different answer. I don't know that you necessarily need it in today's day and age in positionless basketball, but do you need another point guard? Because Emmanuel Quickly's good. He's kind of a 1-2 combo. You can hand it off to Scottie Barnes to orchestrate the offense and be a point forward. But do you have that true blue traditional point guard that's just going to come in and give you 10, 15, 18 minutes and just be a pass-first guy and just orchestrate the offense and be that just reliable backup? I don't think it exists right now on this current team, so that would be something, just try and give a different answer that I think Toronto could look for.
All right, Christian, thank you so much for your question. So right
Thank you,
now
man.
we got to take. Come on,
Appreciate it.
You're gonna
Shoot
come
the
with
ball,
me
win
here.
something. Go win
Yeah, you got to
something.
win some prizes. So first things first,
Sherm talked about shooting, man. It's your turn.
we're gonna need you to take a spin on the wheel to decide exactly what prize you're walking out of here with. There we go.
Tickets. Are the tickets up?
Randy said we're not allowed to give away his tickets.
Because that wheel is tilted.
Tickets.
And
Tickets.
A belt
the
bag.
belt bag.
What's on the other
Old
side?
man, a belt bag.
He gets the belt bag. Okay, all right. So what we need you to do now is go back right around here,
Okay.
and you need to make this shot.
Like,
All right, the pressure's
Lightning
on.
can't jump. No,
Make some
that's
noise
all
for our
right.
guy right now. Let's go. He's got this. Oh, no, you know what? You got it.
Give him another one.
In basketball, it's
Give him
1
another.
plus the penalty. It's 1 plus
Another
the
shot.
penalty. So he gets a second shot. Here we go. This is in.
Oh!
You know what? I've got a heart. I say he gets the belt. Oh, on the third one. Okay, no, let's just stop. Let's call it a night. Let's call it a night for you. But I'm going to give you the bag anyways.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
There you go.
quickly, come on over here. Get the camera. Is there anyone you want to shout out at home?
My son Leonardo.
Shout out Leonardo one time. All right, thank you so much.
Leonardo.
Okay,
Good job, my man.
Job.
Good job.
so,
Can we
get
stop
back-
giving grown people belt bags?
hey, listen.
Can we stop giving them fanny packs?
Actually, hold on.
Well, you got to talk to Christian.
If you put a chain on and put one of them fanny packs on.
No, you've tried that out. You've actually pulled that
Right.
on live TV with me before.
Mini Rock?
No. Mini nobody. Blame Christian, blame Randy for the prizing. Let's dig back into this. Let's talk about Kuminga, because this guy, he's had his war of words with the coaching staff this season, but he's responded. He's played well. Now that he's been inserted into the starting lineup at the forward position, your thoughts, Sherm, on what you see and what the ceiling is for Jonathan Kuminga?
I think when you open your mouth and you say what he said, when you're given the opportunity, you better show up.
Yep.
And he's shown up in a big way. And not only has he shown up, he's helped this team become what they are right now. You think about it, Steph, Clay, Draymond, Chris Paul, those guys are older guys. You kind of know what you're getting from them. Still hard to deal with. But he throws a wild card of athleticism, a guy who can attack off the dribble, who can run in transition and play above the rim. All of a sudden now, that's a totally different element. And I think both he and Moody today did a good job of really showing that their youth is a necessary part of this transition phase. While Golden State's trying to win, they need that style of basketball as well, and they're getting it. And Kuminga's
One of the benefits we have is,
animal.
Sorry, Sherm. One of the benefits we have in Toronto, sitting courtside for our broadcast location, is being able to really see what's happening. First quarter, 5 minutes into the game, if that?
Oh, that timeout.
Steve Kerr called that second timeout
Yeah.
like 30 seconds after having just called one.
And he lit him up.
He lit up Kuminga coming in. I mean, nose to nose was in his face.
It was like
and then
popping Parker.
Gave it to the rest of the team as well. So to your point about like Kuminga, hey, he took it tonight too, and he and the rest of the team responded out of that timeout and eventually as the game went on. And I thought he did a great job of taking advantage of the Raptors were kind of mismatched a little bit at certain points of the game. Pirtle started the game guarding Kuminga, and it took him a little while, but he eventually figured out, like, okay, he's giving me space. So instead of settling for the shots, he started attacking, and he started making a lot of stuff happen at the rim.
I think he's figured out, in a system where we have guys like Clay and Steph and, other people to shoot threes,
Podziemski, the rest of them.
I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't, and there were times I watched his game in the past, he would settle for threes. Why? Because that's the way we play. No. That's not the way you play, or we want you to play.
That negates his skill and talent.
And you see, as Sherm said, his athleticism, his ability to attack the rim. I mean, he's vicious. Like when they're playing 5 out and he's a roller or a cutter getting something going to the basket, it's almost impossible to stop him without fouling him.
He plays with force.
And you understand, too, he gives them a totally different look. When you start him and Draymond Green, there's going to be a big guy on the other team.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have to defend
Somebody's gotta cover.
Draymond or Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
And that's a mismatch on one end of the floor.
Two very unconventional style players.
Right.
100%.
All right, okay. We got a chance. Well, the question earlier was about the Raps' depth, and we got a chance to see young DJ at the end of that game. DJ Carton, thoughts, impressions? I've seen a little bit of tape. Haven't gotten a chance to get down to the 905, so I don't have a full assessment. But I'm wondering, you guys have anything to offer on what this young man can do?
He looks like he belongs.
Yeah. Okay.
It's early, but I just watch his confidence out there. He's not afraid. He's communicative.
Important.
He gets on the floor, and he got on the floor right away today, and he was entrusted with bringing the ball up and getting them into a set.
Yeah.
No problem.
And guarding Chris Paul. On the
Right
other
to
end.
it.
Yeah.
Sitting in his chair guarding Chris Paul. It's like, hey, I belong here.
He relished the opportunity too. He was picking up full court.
Why not?
In a game that was decided.
Why not? And so to me, I haven't, like you, I haven't had a chance to really sit down and dive into his game, but first impressions, he's skilled and he looks like he belongs.
And one of the first or second possessions offensively as well, Kelly Olynyk down in the post, kick out to D. If he's the open guy, fine, but the confidence in teammates as well to give it to that guy.
They seen him in practice.
Exactly, and to me that speaks then to the work ethic and to the camaraderie in a short amount of time to make an impact and to kind of ingrain himself with this team. So I like what we've seen so far. Hopefully, bigger and better things. Like you speak about the young guys too, like a guy like Ochai, and I'm not dumping on him, but he had a rough night. He's played so well for this team of late. So it's nice to see another guy maybe picking up somebody else that has an off night and kind of lifting this second unit a little bit.
I think when I look at him play, I see hunger. I see a guy who,
It's a good
who
word.
wants it. He's relishing the opportunity to perform, to do what he can do, and he's not too cool for school.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
He's willing to do whatever it takes, whatever he's got to do. He's picking up Chris Paul. They're down 15, 20. Doesn't matter. He's going to pick him up. He's going to work. That's the kind of guy that takes advantage of opportunities.
All right, let's talk about Steph Curry once again. His head coach, Steve Kerr, said he's probably the most skilled player he's ever seen. Does Steph belong in that conversation? Greatest of all time. Because traditionally it's a conversation where you talk about LeBron and Mike, or you talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Unabashedly, I would say yeah.
So when people bring up LeBron, Mike, you're throwing Steph's name in that. I haven't heard it a lot from people.
I know, because I think in a small way he gets overlooked. People don't think of him in that same vein. But
is it because he doesn't play the wing position?
How many rings he got? Got 4 rings?
Yep, 4.
He's got him over a time period where he's been the leader of the team. He's not always.
I throw asterisks on that Kevin Durant year for me myself personally, but that's just.
Did he not step back and allow Kevin Durant to lead?
Yeah.
There's part of me that thinks that too. It could have been really messy if they wanted.
It was. I personally wish it was.
So
it was messy at the end. It should have been messy in the middle.
Yeah, but I just think maybe he needs to be in that. I mean, I think there's still some more to do, and there's more runway in his career, but.
Are you throwing his name in the hat when people talk about?
Go. Like no. Here's the. I'm gonna re-ask your question.
Yes or no?
Forget about is he in it? Yeah, he's in the conversation.
Okay, there we go. All right. Now ask
he's not the greatest of all time.
Okay,
Who's Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan. Period.
Okay.
Like he's in the conversation, but I'm not even sure he'd be my starting point guard of my all-time, top 5. It's
Who's
still,
your starting point guard?
Might be Magic Johnson.
So I think that Steph is the greatest shooter
100%.
that this game
100%.
has ever seen.
100%.
When we talk about the greatest players of all time,
Yeah.
we're not talking about one facet of the game.
And that's why he's in the conversation, but he's not.
When we talk about Mike, we're talking about both sides of the basketball. LeBron, both sides of the basketball. Kareem, both sides of the basketball. We're talking about both sides.
But what if someone is so talented in one aspect of the game?
No, he's transcendent.
That's why he's in the conversation, but he's not winning the conversation.
Because, let's face it, his style and the way he played, as much as people scoffed at it initially, like some of those shots put you on the bench for 2 weeks 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, with the evolution of the game and the analytics, there's people that that's the way you play right now. So there's part of the way that he's played that has brought about change in the game, and maybe that's why he belongs in the conversation.
Let me ask this. If he's in the conversation for the greatest of all time,
You got 30 seconds.
how far down the list is he? Is it really a conversation? How many people are going to be above Steph Curry
A number of them.
to call him in a conversation? Because that conversation, it's not a wide conversation. If we're talking greatest of all time, we can't talk about 10 people. We can't talk about 15 people.
Oh, it can't just be a long conversation.
It's not useful. It's not.
No, it is a
useful.
long conversation.
It's not useful.
And some of it's going to have to happen off air. That does it for another episode of Raptors Tonight. Next game for the Raptors is Sunday versus the Charlotte Hornets at 6 p.m. After the game, come on by Real Sports and be a part of the show with my guy Randy Urban. Thank you guys for watching.
Randy wasn't here?
Randy was not here.
I didn't even notice that.
Wow. All right. Shots fired. We'll see you guys next time.